Even though other presidents have done pretty much the same thing, no, he's got to be indicted for that.
What is the Georgia thing is interesting because he was going to have a press conference where he was going to reveal all of the information that proves that he was telling the truth about the Georgia election being rigged.
Yeah,
and then he didn't have the press conference.
Yes, well, this is a thing that I got to say is a kind of knock on Trump here that, this is a thing his lawyers, Sidney Powell and Rudy Giuliani, who just turned himself into custody today. But they would always say this after 2020. We have proof that millions of votes were stolen from Donald Trump and will be releasing this soon. And then it just never kind of comes. So I don't know what he thinks he's going to tell us about that. The issue with the thing in Georgia, where I will grant there's like a little bit of a gray area there. And I think that, look, there is a gray area there. It's kind of like when they impeached Trump over Ukraine. There was like a little bit of a gray area of like what exactly he did. It's just that when you look at things of all the crimes that presidents commit, the idea that you go after a president for this, it's so petty compared to these greater crimes. But like he called the Secretary of State in Georgia and was kind of like, I need you to find me these votes. But he was like, look, there's been fraud. I know there's been fraud. You got to go look for it. And the guy's like, I don't see any evidence that there's fraud here. And he's like, find it. I know there's fraud. He was putting pressure on the guy to go look. Right. But it's not as if he was telling the guy, I need you to commit fraud.
Right.
He wasn't telling him, I want you to flip votes or I want you to manipulate something. He's like, I want you to go find where the fraud is.
Right.
So you'd almost have to prove that he didn't really believe that.
Right.
In order to prove, because if there was really fraud, he has every right to tell the guy to go find it.
Right.
So now they're arguing that he didn't. And in the indictment, they argue that he knew it and he was, he knew that there was no fraud, but was still trying to get the guy to go find it. And the case that they're using to argue that is that he had advisors around him who told him that the election was legit. The problem with that is that doesn't prove at all that Trump believed those guys just because they told him that.
Right.
If there's one thing I'm fairly confident in, I believe Donald Trump believes he won the election in 2020.